Hey guys, Ryan here. Today I wanted to talk to you about Rich Dad, Poor Dad and some of the things that I learned from the book and if I actually value them and am using them or not. Number one, we've got work to learn, not to earn. So this one's really cool. This one's quite important and I was living by this even before I read the book. But let me explain to you what it is first. Work to learn is having a job where you can learn things while you're doing the job. And working to earn is literally just doing a job and getting paid for it. You also get paid in work to learn sometimes, most of the time. The idea here is that what you want to strive to do is you want to go and get a job where you can learn things, not where you're just earning a salary. There's actually a quote, I can't remember who it's from. I don't know if it's a quote, but someone said that if you stop learning after school or university, then you're not doing life right. I think it's actually quite true. You've got to keep learning. Keep your brain going, keep your motivation going, learn new things, learn new skills, develop yourself, sort of create your own intellectual assets, like your knowledge. Funny enough, I actually had a conversation with two guys at a restaurant that I was working at. They gave me the best advice that I've ever received in my life. They said, well, I can't remember exactly what they said because my memory is not great. But the idea was, go work somewhere, learn how they do it, and then go do it somewhere else. You do not need to go to university to learn things, and I think Gary Vee is a big proponent of this. Point number two is that we need to become financially literate. What you need to do is learn about finances, money, and business, and taxes, and how all of that stuff works. Understand the jargon, get to know the definitions of certain things, and your wallet will definitely thank you for it. I'm not joking when I say this. I did not know much about finances before reading this book. After reading this book, I did my own research and I learned some more. And this brings me to my third point, which is you come first. When you get paid your salary, you have to, this one's really important, have to take a portion of your salary if you have extra money over your expenses. What you need to do is you need to take money out of your salary before you pay your expenses. So say you get 10,000 Rand, put 1,000 or whatever you can away, put 1,000, put 500, put 100 away into a savings account that is just sitting on the side. But the idea is that you need to pay that account first before you pay your other expenses, before you pay your car, before you pay for Netflix, before you pay for Spotify. You need to put your money away before you pay those expenses, because what we all think is, at the end of the month, we're going to save the money that's left in our account. That never happens. So what you need to do to combat that is put away your savings before. Then you have a certain amount of money and you can budget for entertainment in that, but put money away before you pay everything else. One more thing about this is it is really difficult. You have to have a strict budget. You need to know exactly where your money goes. Not everybody does a budget. I'm not the most strict when it comes to this budget, but I do have a certain amount that I keep in my account after I get paid. So I get paid, I send my money into a savings account, and then I have this certain amount of money for food, for electricity, for subscriptions, Spotify and whatever. And unfortunately, I'm not very strict throughout the month. So I end up pinching from that savings account, but at least it's there. It's building up, it's sitting there. If something goes wrong, I have the availability to take that money and use it for whatever's happening. So I'm busy building up my emergency fund. I'll talk about that in another video later on. It doesn't really make much of a difference because you're not investing. After reading this book, I was saving, I understood how money worked. I knew that I needed to start investing, which is my fourth point. Investing your money when you have it. Invest into that like button so that more viewers can see my content. Okay, but no, really, going back into investing, right? So investing is really cool, but you gotta know what you're investing into. You can't just blindly put money into the market and hope that it grows. Research the companies that you want to invest into, research the ETFs, understand what ETFs are. Just research. You have to understand what you're investing into. There's many people that will tell you to invest into things that you buy, which is great, that's cool, but understand how that business makes money. Understand how the business operates and what they do, what their business model is. You really do need to understand how they operate. The safest way, in my opinion, the safest and the easiest way to invest your money in something that is low risk and also low reward, but it's low risk, so you're not going to lose your money, is into an ETF. By far, for the longest time, the most structured and the safest ETF to get into is the S&P 500. that tracks the US top 500 businesses or companies on the stock exchange. But do your research, right? Don't come back to me in like 5 months' time and say, "Ah, Ryan, you said I should put my money into ETFs and now the market's crashed and I've lost all my money." No. Do your research. Assets versus liabilities is number 5. Assets put money into your pocket and liabilities take money out of your pocket. So when you're paid your salary, buy assets, not liabilities. I value happiness as an asset, okay? If I'm happy, then I can do my work properly. And if I'm not happy, I don't do my job very well, which means that I could lose clients. That can't happen because then I don't make money. So happiness is a priority for me. Happiness is then an asset to me. So anything that makes me happy, truly happy, right? Don't get this confused, but anything that makes me truly happy, that I can keep. I'm going to run through some things in my personal life that might be an asset, it might be a liability. Okay, so my first one is Spotify. Spotify is really great. It's where I listen to music on the road. I follow some podcasts that I learn from, and so that's an asset in my books. Number 2 is Skillshare. So Skillshare, I'm not sponsored. I'm not that big yet. But Skillshare is really cool. It's really cheap and you can learn so much on that platform. It's like $40 a month, but they bill it on an annual basis. So you'll pay $450 for the year and then you've got it for the entire year. So, I don't really feel that as an expense. It's more of an investment into an asset because I get to learn from it. The next one is Netflix or Showmax. So we have a Netflix account. I value this. It adds to my happiness because I get to relax, and you can't just work. You need some relaxation time. So for me, that's an asset. Then a car, right? You might need a car. I don't. The car was costing me around 3,500 Rand a month, and that, which is actually pretty good. Like, that's a cheap deal, right? It was a Kia Picanto, but I don't need that car anymore, so I got rid of it. So now I have 3,500 Rand less expenses, which is really cool. By the way, understand how that works, because a car is, you're paying like half of your installment will be interest, right? And then you've got to pay another 1,000 Rand on insurance. And so, most of the money that you're paying for the car isn't even yours, and it's just going into somebody else's pocket. That is, again, understanding finances, money, and how it all works, okay? Then I've got alcohol. Alcohol is really not that big. I can live without it. It doesn't impact my happiness. Sure, if I go to a braai or something like that, then I'll buy a 6-pack. I do miss the occasional beer after work and after a stressful day, but it's not necessary. It's an added expense that I don't need. It doesn't add to my happiness. And then we've got good food, right? Good food doesn't have to be expensive, but this is a must in my books, right? I need good food. I really enjoy cooking. It brings me happiness. I enjoy the process of cooking and I enjoy the taste of good food. So for me, buying good food is a priority. It brings me happiness. That's an asset, okay? And the last one is coffee. Coffee is needed, right? We have an espresso machine. So the beans are a little bit more expensive, but that coffee is just so much better than espresso, and it really does make me happy. It makes my morning, and I can go into work in a happy mood. So these are the things that I really enjoyed from the book, and if I use them or not. If there was anything that I left out that you thought was necessary to mention, just drop it down in the comments below and let's start a discussion. What I'd like you to do is invest into that